Good morning and welcome to our practice today. So let's just come down to a comfortable seat. So as always, if it feels nice for you to have something under your hips, please do. And come into whatever position feels comfortable for you. So especially at the start more than ever, be kind to yourself. You don't need to struggle. Just come into seated. And once you're there, then lengthening the spine. So we're not kind of slouching into the lower back, avoiding rounding the shoulders. And then whenever you feel ready, to closing the eyes. Generally we're breathing in and out through the nose, but if you feel that you need to, just take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth to release. We are focusing on air today. There'll be a lot of focus on that breath and just see how it feels to breathe through the mouth as you exhale. Does it feel more of a release, or do you prefer to breathe out of the nose? And then just allowing yourself the time to arrive onto your mat. Once you're sat in, so I'm just going to adjust the camera slightly. Be aware of your temperature. Are you a little cold? Are you too warm? Do you want that window open or closed? Just anything that you feel noticing it now. Just maybe just make that adjustment before we begin properly. So with your eyes closed, allowing the breath to flow in and out. So we're focusing on air today. Really how our movements are expressions of our breath. So air is the element for our solar plex chakra, which is just in between the ribs, above the belly button. It's really to do with a lot of our willpower. A very powerful one. We have a slightly out of balance. If there's too much activity there, it can be we're really trying to force something to happen that's maybe causing us some tension, some stress, frustrations. Maybe if there's a lack of activity, it could be that nothing's really happening, there's no movement there, we feel maybe disempowered by something. So just trying to bring that back into balance. And focus on our beautiful breath and just the power it has over us. When you steady your breath immediately, we're calming our nervous systems, allowing the body to release. So just allowing your breath to deepen and really breathe in on purpose. Slowing the breath down. Maybe bringing your attention to your top lip, feeling the air come in and the air go out. We're also going to be just allowing ourselves to surrender today. To surrender into that breath. Surrender just to where we are. So through your practice, no comparisons to what we've done in the past or what our expectations are. Just surrendering into where you are in that moment. And also surrendering into the asanas themselves, allowing the muscles to release. Big breath in. Slow breath out. We're going to begin our practice today with an Om. This is a form of a mantra. If we break that down, man means heart, mind, and tra means a liberation or expansion. So our mantra is the expansion or liberation of our heart mind. So we're going to repeat Om. And I want you to imagine this is energy from the base of your spine travelling through, went up, out the top of your head. Ours will come out from our mouths, but I want you to think more of the vibration as if it's energy. And as you're making that sound, really imagine it's lifting up through you. Again, this is a surrender into, sometimes we can feel a bit self-conscious when we do things like this. It doesn't matter, just let it go. So we're going to take an exhale, an inhale, and then we're going to om together. So once we've finished the om, just rest in the silence that's created afterwards, and then we'll begin our practice. So taking an exhale, inhale, and begin. Let's begin, but let's just stretch those arms up. Lengthen the spine, exhale, releasing down. We're going to come into some Sufi rolls. So it's almost like a seated cat-cow, but we're making it a circle rather than just forwards and backwards. So I want you to imagine you're drawing a circle with your chest, but really what we're doing is getting a lot of movement from our hips here. So once you're kind of used to that movement, try to initiate the breath. So as we come forward, inhale, let's really push the chest forward. And then exhale, so we draw back. Inhale, I'm going a little too fast. So really slow that movement down. And again, the movement is an expression of your breath. So it's the breath that's leading, that's guiding us here. Pause at center, and then go back the other way. So just let the movement complement your breath. Keep your shoulders relaxed throughout. Really nice one for just allowing your body some time to release, to let go. Good. When you're back at center, come into a neutral spine. Once more, inhaling, reaching the arms up. Gently, we're going to place them down in front of us, untuck the toes, and come to all fours. So if you need to, just move anything out of the way. So all fours, hands are under shoulders, knees are under hips. And then as we inhale, we lengthen the spine forward. So chin and chest, just allowing your body to fall towards the floor. As you exhale, drawing the chin to your chest, pushing up between the shoulder blades. And again, moving with your breath. So let the breath guide this. Only move when you're ready to breathe. And try to slow the movement down to match the breath. But if you're still exhaling once you're in your full expression, just pause there until you're ready to inhale. For those that don't know, I'm 5 months pregnant, so I'm not going into the full expression here. If you are pregnant, then just generally any time, just listen to your body. Whether you're pregnant, carrying an injury, or just practice this in yoga, always listen to your body. It's by far your best teacher. Going back to a neutral spine. So you can continue with your cat-cows, or we can come into tiger. So this is where we lift our right leg, we'll begin with. And again, I'm not going too far into this. Go as far as you can. We're trying to get these toes to touch the back of the head. And then we exhale. We try to bring the knee and forehead together. Again, moving with your breath. So this one, we're trying to get as much movement as possible. You're really opening up and you're closing in. So as you open, just imagine you're breathing, you're trying to create as much space as possible for that breath. You need to exhale. We're trying to really compress to squeeze the air out. Be mindful, because we've come into an asymmetric move, it's really tempting when we lift the leg up to swing the hips out to the other side, kind of to counterbalance us. So what I want you to do is make sure you keep that center line, really engage your core, ground through your hands and supporting leg, and try and stay centered. One more on that side. If you're staying with cat-cow, just one more. Come back to center. Just push back into child pose for a moment. lengthening the spine. And then inhale, coming back up. So either once again, doing cat-cow, or doing, if you do tiger on one side, do tiger on the other. So again, create your center line. And then lifting up. And when you're going through this, unless there is an injury or pregnancy preventing, really find your boundaries. So you're not just kind of wobbling around, going through the movement. You're really trying to find that edge. And equally, when you bring the knee to the forehead, really lifting through the shoulder blades, try and find that space. And keep moving with your breath. Do one more on that side. And then gently back to a neutral spine. Just briefly coming through child to really lengthen the spine. And then pushing back, coming to a kneeling position. We're just going to quickly stretch out our wrists. We're going to be on our wrists a little bit during this practice, so it's nice, and we don't often do that. So it's some options, just to interlock your fingers, kind of rounding, just giving them a little wiggle. Another option, placing them on the floor, maybe coming up to all fours, and you can pad like a cat. Just kind of moving the hands, moving them round, just seeing where they go, or grounding down, and then just doing little movements to stretch them around. Doesn't need to be a really intense stretch, we're just kind of warming them up like we would any other part of the body. Fingers towards you, almost sitting backwards. And we can place palms up. And again, just stretch out. Quite nice to do that anyway, actually. Again, our ankles and our wrists can be really overlooked, and they do so much work for us. So it's nice just to take a moment, give them some attention. Good. And then just release. If you do find that your wrists hurt a lot, sometimes it can be that we're putting the pressure in the wrong places. So when you're on your hands, really spreading the fingers as wide as you can, gripping down with your fingertips, but also the knuckle, trying to squeeze the air out of the palm. So we're not just resting on the ball of the hand, which puts a lot of pressure on the wrist. Okay, so back onto all fours. We're going to come through some bird dogs now, or Superman, you might know them as. So this is almost the complete opposite. We're trying to keep the back as still as possible. So we're really going to try and engage our core muscles. So deep, deep down, we have transverse muscles, and they're like a corset that zip around the body. They really protect our spine. So taking a big inhale and exhale. Sometimes when we're doing our Mula Bandha, this is kind of what we're, one of our bandhas, we really engage our core here. So you can just kind of feel that tension. So we're going to try and keep that with a neutral spine. We're going to extend our left leg away from us, just toes down. You can stay here. You can lift the right arm up, or if you want to, you can lift the left arm up as well. But we're trying to keep, so we're trying to avoid really kind of going into the lower spine. And we don't need to lift the legs up, the arms up, we just want them in line. We're going to release down. Go to the other side. Stretching out. Release down. You don't have to hold for long. Try to let your breath guide you. So we inhale to open. Just try to stay long enough to find your full expression. And then release down with an exhale. And do 3 on each side. So I've got 1 more on each side to do. Release. And really try to focus on that core. Because again, we're lifting up, we're wobbling our balance. If you're wobbling, that's fine. We're testing the balance on purpose. It's a natural reaction that we would be wobbly. Last one. Oh, then just taking a tailbone round in the back. Releasing and lengthening. Coming back up, we're going to come through some crunches of the same movement now. So grounding yourself down, keeping the back still. Extending the left leg, right arm up. You're lifting up. Either way, we're going to bring the knee and elbow together. So you can kind of run that foot across the floor if it gives you balance. Otherwise, lifting up. Trying to bring the knee and elbow as close as you can, but without rounding into the back. Trying to keep the neutral spine. Inhale to open. And exhale in. We're going to do 3 on each side. Taking your time, go with your breath. Don't worry if you fall out of sync with me. And then release down. Just like a cat-cow if you need to try and rebalance. And then going to the other side. And then right leg, left arm. Quads engaged. Good. Stretching in and out, taking your time. Whenever you've done your 3, release the hands down, rest back. Child pose. Focus on your breath. When you inhale, focus on your inhale. When you exhale, focus on your exhale. Enjoy that. So these are lovely examples on our mats. Sometimes you want big movements, want to be moving, feel like we're going somewhere, and other times we need to just have that control and that power to be still. It's the same when we come off the mat. Life throws us different things and we have to react in different ways. So it's nice just to be prepared. Using our breath to get us through. When you're ready, grounding through the hands, lifting up, tucking the toes, we're lifting into down dog. Taking your time to find your down dog. So we're really trying to lengthen the spine. So we're trying to get our hips, lift our hips up as far away from our head as we can. Broadening through the shoulders, so we wrap the biceps round. Grounding through the whole hands as discussed. And only then do we need to worry about trying to straighten the legs or getting the heels down. That's really secondary. Lengthening the spine comes first. I'm going to hold for another 3. For 2. 1. Release the knees down. Pause for a moment. And then lift it back up. This time, we're going to come into scorpion. So we're going to ground out through the left foot, lift up with the right leg, bend the knee, and then we open the hips up to the right side. Really opening, lifting up. And gently closing the hips, releasing the foot back down. We go to the other side. Left leg reaching up, bend the knee, open the hips to the side. Be aware, like me now, my left shoulder wants to come up too. So we try and ground that, square that off by bringing the left shoulder down. Release the foot down. Knees down. Push back. Child pose. Big breath in. Big breath out. Enjoy that breath. Focusing on your top lip. Breath comes in. Breath goes out. Surrender is deeply misunderstood as an act of weakness. Surrender is the bravest thing a human ever does. Release, let go, surrender into your child pose. On your next inhale, we're going to lift up through all fours and lower ourselves down onto our stomachs. So we're going to come into cobra. We're going to just move between child and cobra a few times. So for your cobra, hands just a little in front, shoulder width apart. Legs zipped up together, so squeezing the heels together, squeezing the thighs together. And then lift up. Try to keep the elbows close to the body. You can keep the elbows bent or you can lift straight depending on how much flexibility you have in your spine. Already my heels are falling apart, so keep those zipped. We're pushing down through the hips, really drawing the chest and collarbone forwards. Release down. Draw the hands in.
Use your knees to help push back. Child pose, round in the spine, over the thighs. Pause for a moment. And then once again, inhaling up, lowering yourself down. Zip up the legs, place the hands when you're ready. Inhale up. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Hips push down. Big breath in. Big breath out. Release down. Push back. Let's do one more. And when you're in your child pose, I say counter stretch. We're just releasing the back when we've done. Just relax into that position. A big breath in. Big breath out. Good. Once more, lifting up. Lowering yourself down. Placing the arms, zipping the leg. Lifting up. Just finding you. So again, if you have back issues, just listen to your body. It may be that you want to come into Sphinx instead. So forearms stay on the floor, legs lifting up. I can come in, but I can't come into the full expression, but that's fine. I'm just listening to my body. It's telling me where I can go. Breathing out, shoulders away, chest forwards. Exhale, release down. We're going to stay on our front here. So just want you to bring your arms by your side, gently turning your head to one side, releasing down. This is a reverse Shavasana. Oh, it's so lovely for calming the nervous system, and it just feels like a complete surrender. How often do we lie in this position? Eyes closed, or if they are open, just looking towards the edge of your mat. Try to avoid the eyes wandering around the room. Big breath in. Big breath out. Gently. Hands under your shoulders. Push back through all fours, tucking your toes, lifting your hips back into a down dog. Oh, really lengthening that spine. Good. Once more. If you wish, you can stay in down dog or a scorpion to each side. Just enough to open with a big inhale. Close down with an exhale. And then to the other side. Close down, taking your gaze forwards, walk, step or jump your feet to your hands. Releasing into your forward fold. Halfway lift. Good, exhale lower. Inhale all the way to standing. And release arms by your side. Okay, we're going to come through some salutations now. So if you need to adjust your stance, that's a little too far back, so I just want to be in the top quarter of my mat. Grounding my feet down. So really as if you're trying to grow roots, and then you're trying to be as light as possible on those roots, lifting your body up. Big inhale. Big exhale. Inhale, arms up. So as our arms come up, we draw the tailbone down to the sky, down to the ground. Lift the chest to the sky, so lengthening the spine. Exhale, bow forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the spine forwards. Exhale, hands down. Step or jump into your plank position. Pausing here, you can come all the way down or drop the knees, lower yourself back down. So from here, we come into another back bend. So you can come into your cobra as we've just practiced, or come into your up dog. If you're coming into an up dog, the hands are under the shoulders. Really try to lengthen and lift through those elbows. Lift out to the shoulders. The feet can be apart, but we're still drawing the chest forwards. Hips are lifted, lengthening through the toes. Release down. Use the help of your knees to push back into your down dog. Pausing for a moment. Lifting your chest, lifting your gaze. Step or jump, feet to hands. Release down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, all the way to standing.
and release down.
Big inhale. Big exhale. Let's go again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. Step or jump into your plank. Again, knees are optional. You can come all the way down or drop your knees and lower down. Untuck the toes into your back bend of choice, cobra or up dog. Big inhale, big exhale. Try to breathe in and out through the nose. So from here, you can come straight through to a down dog or you can lower down. If you're coming straight through, really engage those core muscles so we really protect the spine as we lift the hips and push back. Down dog. Find that down dog. Because we come in and out of the down dog so often, sometimes we don't give it much attention. To really try and lengthen that spine, lifting the hips up, wrapping the biceps. When you're ready, gazing forwards, walk, step or jump your feet to your hands. Release down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, all the way to standing. Lengthening the spine. Exhale, release. Big inhale. Big exhale. Let's go one more time. So still, every time try to ground yourself down and then grow yourself tall. You're creating space for the air, and as you bow forwards, you're exhaling as you squeeze the air out. Halfway lift. So on your halfway lift, you may find this taught in different ways, and it's just finding your own way. So sometimes it's encouraged the hands to stay towards the floor. For me, I round too much through my back if I do this. So I like to just lift up so I can get a long spine, and my hands usually come kind of to my calves, maybe to my knees. Exhale, hands down. Stepping or jumping into your plank. Whichever one is available to you. So please don't be put off if when you come down, your knees are down, you come to here, and then you just have to drop your hips. Just keep going, even just taking that break off the elbow, taking that pressure in your arms, it's still worth doing, even if then you just collapse to the floor, because each time your body will get a little bit more used to it, it'll get a little bit stronger, until you're able to come all the way down. Into your back bend. Big inhale. Feel that breath coming in. Feel the breath going out. Moving from here or lowering down, transition into your down dog. Grounding down, lifting your hips. From here, we're going to pause. We're going to come into our scorpion. So your right leg stretching up through three-legged dog, and then opening the hip to the side, trying to keep the right shoulder down. Then with control, bringing the knee back in, the hips back in line. We're going to roll forwards into a plank, bringing the knee forwards, and then threading the right foot underneath the left side. You can stay here. You can allow the left foot to pivot, ground down through the right hand, and come up into a supported side plank. Gently, if you come in, gently, reversing back out, release down. Take a moment in down dog. Same leg, stretching up, stepping forward into your high lunge. So grounded, really connecting with the floor as you then lift up into your high lunge. I'm feeling a little bit wobbly, so I'm practicing next to a wall, and I'm using that wall for support. So see the wall as a prop. And props don't make us weak, they make us just relax and surrender into the pose. They can help us to continue our practice. So please don't feel bad if you are wobbling and you need to just grip onto something, whether it's a wall or a sturdy chair. So I need to just widen and lengthen that stance. I need to draw this hip back and then finding my high lunge. My feet and hips are facing forwards. Arms are up for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. We're going to keep with the high lunge. We're going to bow forwards. So to exhale, we're forward. Straighten that leg, really lifting up, bowing forward. So hands come to the floor. You can stay here or sweeping the arms back behind you and then up to the ceiling. As you inhale, bring the arms forward, bend into that knee, lift up. Celebrate your inhale. Exhale, bowing forward. We're doing this 5 times. Please know you will be wobbly in this one. If you're going through the full expression, you should feel that tension in your legs. You may be wobbling from side to side. It's okay. And ground down through the feet. Imagine you're drawing the thighs together to create that tension. May help you stabilize, but you may still be wobbly, and that's okay. Good. I'm going to do one more. You do your 5, and then we come to rest. Back in our high lunge. Pause in, hands down. Step back into your down dog. I'm going to roll forwards into plank. Lower ourselves down. So we're going through our flow. Then we're going to take a pause in child pose for a moment. So from your up dog, keep the knees on the floor. Push back. Child pose. So this is a good time. This pause, this rest, to just try and calm that heart rate down. Your breath is amazing and has so much influence on our body systems. So just bringing your attention to your breath, not only slowing the breath, but really trying to make that breath as long as possible. And exhaling fully without gasping for air. And maybe you're going to feel your heart rate calming down. When you're ready, grounding the hands down. And lift back up into a down dog. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So it's our left leg. Lifting up. Opening into scorpion. And then with control. Bringing the knee down, hip come back to neutral. We rock forward into plank and bringing the knee forward. And then thread the foot to the right side. I haven't got much space here. I'm just going to rock round. I'm not going to fully extend the leg, but just do what I can. Lifting the right arm up if you feel stable. And then gently lower back down. Pivot that back foot. Stretch the left leg back up. And release down into your down dog. Find your grounding once more. And then once again. Big stretch up. Left foot. Coming forward. Finding your high lunge. Opening. Again, finding that lunge. So if you're really wobbling, you move your feet towards the edge of the mat. It might just make that stance a little wider, maybe a little more secure. Draw the left hip forwards if it's creeping forward. Sorry, draw it back if it's creeping forwards. Arms up. For 5. For 4. For 3. For 2. 1. Let's come into our bows. I'll surrender forward to straightening that front leg. Allow the hands to sweep. You can just stay here or sweep the arms back up to the ceiling. And at the moment, I'm keeping my neck kind of engaged, but really, if you can, letting go. So you're looking back towards those back toes. And inhaling. Back up. 4 more. Exhale down. Again, the movement is a celebration of your breath. We're opening ourselves up, enabling more space to breathe, and we're closing ourselves down, helping the air to exhale from us. I'm going to do one more, but you complete your 5, and whenever you're finished, coming back to your high lunge, releasing the hands down, stepping back into a down dog. So you can rest or flow. We'll all rest in a moment, but if you want to come down straight away to your child pose, just do. Otherwise, roll forwards to your plank. Lower yourself down. And inhale into your back bend. And then pushing back. Once again, child pose. And this time, however you wish. If you want your knees to be wide, so you can rest down in between those legs. If you want the arms to be by your side. And enjoy that rest.
The mind may wander. That's what it does. It's okay, we just need to train it to come back. So once you're aware, be grateful that you've become aware that your mind's wandered, and try to come back, focusing on your breath. Slow and steady breath in, slow and steady breath out. On your next inhale, lifting up, we're going to close this salutation, so coming through down dog. Walk, step or jump your feet to your hands, releasing down, halfway left, exhale, inhale all the way to standing, release the arms by your side. Big breath in, big breath out. Grounding down. So remembering our Tadasana, our mountain pose is still an asana. Sometimes, I'm the worst. I'm adjusting what I'm doing, my clothes, my hair, having a fidget. You're still in an asana, so really kind of give it your attention, give it your respect. You're grounding down, really pushing down with that big toe knuckle, grounding yourself down. We've got one more flow to do. Let's go. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bowing forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step or jump, plank pose. Releasing yourself down into the ground. Inhaling into your back bend. Tuck the toes, push back. Down dog. Right leg's going to lift first, so grounding down through your whole hand with your left foot to enable you to lift up, open into scorpion. And closing the knees, coming into neutral, leaning forward into your plank, threading the foot through to the side, and then opening up. Releasing down, thread the foot back, stretch up to the sky. And then from here, stepping forward into your high lunge. And don't worry too much, your foot lands where it lands. Sometimes we can beat ourselves up about that. We need to just be kind to ourselves. We can always just shuffle that foot wherever it needs to go. And then come back up. I know you don't need to stand as wide as I have. It may be that you stand a little bit closer together. Just finding your asana. Open and lift up. For 5, join that hip back if you need to. For 3, for 1, we're just going to do 2 bows now. Bowing forwards, sweeping the arms back. Lifting up with an inhale. And exhale, lowering down. And inhale up. From here, you may just want to pause and watch, or feel free to come with me, but I'll go through it twice. So we're going to step forwards, but bring that left knee in front of our hip. From here, we're going to transition into Warrior 3. So we're going to pivot from the hips, stretching the left leg behind us, and then extending the arms forwards. And again, from here, we're going to do some crunches. So arms and legs extended. As you exhale, we're going to draw the knee and elbows in together. And then inhale, opening up. Exhale in. So I'm just going to reverse out, step back, and then we'll do that together. So, and please know, this is the perfect one to engage your breath and to allow yourself to surrender. So we're not forcing things to happen, and we're not being disengaged either. We're encouraging them to happen, but we're not going to fight against them. So release your muscles into the pose and just allow where you are today, whether that's solid or whether that's wobbly. So from your high lunge, knees stepping forwards, hinging forwards, finding your Warrior 3, And then exhale, drawing the arms and legs in. And inhale, opening out. If you're wobbling and need to tap the wall, touch your foot down, begin again. Do whatever you need to do, just keep going. We're doing 5 of these. So we'll fall out of sync. Once you're done, we reverse back out, bringing the knee forwards, arms up, and then stepping back into your high lunge. Please don't rush, you have time to do your 5. So whenever you're done, then lowering the hands down, stepping back into your down dog, roll forwards through your flow. Taking your time with your breath, push back into child pose. Rest here for a moment. Big breath in, big breath out. Big breath, let's do the other side. Lifting up into a down dog, grounding down, left leg, reaching up. Open that hip up to the side, keep the left shoulder down. There, bringing the hip in, knee forwards, extend the leg to the side. You can keep your hands on the floor or pivoting the back foot, open up to the right side. Releasing down. Extend that leg once more up. And then with control, stepping forward, planting the foot down, lifting up into your high lunge. Good. Just pause in here. For 3, for 2, for 1. 2 bows forwards. Exhale. Coming down. Almost like you're aiming your head to your knee. Inhaling back up. Good. And I'm growing a little fatigued, so I'm not sweeping my arms, but if you want to, continue to sweep those arms behind you and then back up to the sky. And then inhale. Reaching back up into your high lunge. So from here, we repeat what we did on the other side. We step forward, bring the right knee forward. Pivot from your hips. Coming into your warrior 3. And then from there, exhale as you punch in. Inhale as you open out. Good. Feel that lovely movement. Maybe feeling the full lengthening of your body. Doing your 5 without rushing. Whenever you're done, hinging back to standing, knee forwards, and then step back into your high lunge. I'll just pause here for a moment, just so we all go down together. And then when you're ready, hands down, sit back into your down dog. So your last time to flow if you want to, otherwise come down to child pose. Good, and then everyone come to child. Really rest in here. Acknowledging your standing practice, we're going to come down to the mat now. Big inhale. Big exhale. Marianne Williamson said, "The moment of surrender is not when life is over, but when it begins." Just imagine that it's not this weakness, it's not an ending. It's to finally open up and begin. I'm going to transition to lying out back, so you can just maneuver if you wish, or lifting up through down dog. And then we're going to hop our feet forwards and gently cross our ankles and allow ourselves to come to a seated position and then lying ourselves down. So we're going to come into an inversion, into shoulder stand. So please, if you're unsure, please watch, because once you're in, I don't want you to move your head or neck. So your options are to bring your feet so they're above your hips with the knee bent, or straight legs. Or, with some momentum, catching your hips
and then aiming your feet towards the ground behind you into cloud pose. They may not get there, it's just an aim. Or if you want to, supporting your spine, extend up to shoulder stand. Trying to draw the hips forwards. So, taking your time, you have a little while in this pose. So feel free to maybe try each stage. You may want to go straight into shoulder stand and remain there. But try to relax into what you need. So if you need to just calm down, stop forcing things, then maybe don't do too many. Maybe just stick with one and then try to breathe there. If you're feeling a lack of movement, then maybe you do need to maybe try a few. And that can just be the legs vertical, and then into plow, the legs vertical, or even the legs vertical, the legs down, the legs up. It doesn't have to be big shows and whistles. Just whatever your body's calling for. You've still got maybe another 30 seconds here, so take your time. Taking your last breath here. Whenever you release out, go as slowly and as gently as you can. You're lowering yourself, lying down, lengthening your arms along the floor above your head, so you're stretching out like an arrow. Good. Now we're going to go into a back bend. So actually bridges today. We're going to do 3 variations. So one version of a bridge, a second variation of a bridge, and then wheel pose. If you are comfortable with wheel pose and it's already in your practice, feel free to do wheel the whole time. Equally, if bridge is where you want to be, just stay with bridge, but I'll just demonstrate each as we go. So planting the feet down onto the ground. Try to have your feet in line with your hips and knees. Arms by your side. When you're ready, we're peeling ourselves up like a label. So our lower back is so keen to help out, but often it lifts up first and then we lift our hips. And what we really want to avoid is this kind of arch. So push the lower back into the floor, tilt the pelvis first, lift and peel yourself off the floor. So when you're ready, with an inhale, lifting up. Imagine there's a ball that you're holding between your knees to avoid your knees falling out to the side. Then we hold for 5. For 4, digging down through your heels. For 3, lifting your hips. For 2. For 1, gently releasing down. Try to avoid bringing the knees into the chest just yet. We'll get there in the end. Okay, second variation, so repeating that bridge, or when you're ready with an inhale, again, peeling yourself up gently, interlocking your fingers beneath you, and then walking your shoulder blades in towards your center lines. Then we really lift the chest as well. Imagine you're trying to lengthen the front of the body as much as possible. Hold it for 5. Remember those knees, trying to avoid them falling out. For 4. For 3. For 2. 1. Release the shoulders. Release the fingers and lower yourself down. Remember the lower back tries to touch before the hips. Release down. If you are coming into wheel pose, please only try to do this because I'm not there with you and I can't fully demonstrate at the moment because I can't do extreme back bends. Please just listen to your body and do what you think is right. So whether you should just stay with bridges for now, then please do. If you're confident with your wheel, then go for it. If you are willing, it's your fingers, hands by your shoulders, fingers pointing towards your toes. Avoid the elbows falling out to the side. We lift ourselves up in the same way as the bridge. And then when you're ready, gently taking some pressure into your hands, pushing through. You pause only momentarily on the top of the head, lightly. And then when you're ready, lift it all the way up.
I wish I could join you, but I can't at the moment, which I need to just surrender into that, my current situation. If you are, whichever one you're ever trying in any of these, always make sure you save enough energy to be able to lower and release yourself out of the asana with control. So when you're ready, whether you're in bridge or wheel, gently releasing yourself out of the position. And now, if you wish, bringing those knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a hug, maybe rocking from side to side. Coming into eagle legs, so we're going to cross the right thigh over the left. You can double tuck with your toes if you want to around the calf, or leave them out. Extend the arms to the side, either fully extended or in cactus, and then lowering the legs down to the left side. That's a really nice one. Releasing the pressure from the spine. Turning your head towards the right. Big inhale. Big exhale. With every exhale, just releasing a little further. Good, gently. Coming back through center. Unraveling the legs. Going to the other side. So left thigh over right. Again, double tucking if you wish. And then allowing the knees to fall down towards the right side. So if the knees are in line with your hips, you're stretching more the lower back. If they're higher, you're stretching more into the mid back. Just up to you if there's anything you need to stretch. Big inhale. Big exhale. With your exhale, surrendering into the position. Good, gently coming back onto your spine. Unraveling. If you need to just do any stretch or twists, then do them, and then find your way into your Shavasana. Arms long by your side, legs long, allowing the feet to fall out. Big breath in. Big breath out. And try to relax there. If you're already aware that something's bothering you, maybe you're a little cold, maybe see if you can put socks or a blanket on. If your hand or your shoulders feel funny, maybe just give them a little wiggle or maneuver so you can just rest where you are. And then once again, big breath in. Slow, steady breath out. Bringing your attention once more to your top lip. Feeling the breath in. Feeling the breath out. Can you sense any temperature change? Is the breath coming out slightly warmer? The breath going in slightly cooler? Imagine you're watching yourself as if floating above. Gently you float higher so you can see your whole body and your mat. Continuing to float away, you begin to see the whole room, the whole building, the whole street. As you continue to float, you begin to see your town, your county. Start to make out the coastlines of the country. Floating further away still, you see a continent. And then the whole outline of the earth. As you breathe deeply in the stillness and quiet space that surrounds you. closer and closer to the earth. You begin to see the continent, the coastlines of our country, down to our county, drifting closer to see our town, to see our street, back to our building, into our room, onto our mat, and back to our top lip. Feeling the breath in and the breath out. Surrendering into this stillness that you've created. The only movement is the power of your breath in and your breath out. When you feel that life is out of focus, always return to the basic of life. Breathe in. No breath, no life. As your mind wanders, just come back to your breath. Breathe in deeply, exhaling fully. There's nowhere to be, there's nothing to do. Just be still and breathe. Gently, as you feel ready, bring sensation back into the body. Gently moving the fingers and the toes and feel them moving through the air that surrounds you. And then the wrists and the ankles. Turning the head from side to side. Maybe once again stretching the body long. And then curling the body up. And making your way onto your side. Don't rush this stage. It's nice. It's a really nice transition, almost like a rebirth. Just a pause, take a moment between your practice and coming off of your mat. And then when you're ready, with an inhale, pushing yourself up, finding your seat. We're going to close the practice as we opened with an Om together. So we exhale, inhale, and then Om. So taking your exhale, inhale fully. And begin. Allowing your body to breathe normally, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the face. Sweeping the arms up, lengthening the spine, placing palm to palm, feeling that connection between your fingers, allowing the hands to rest in front of your heart, bowing your head, honouring and acknowledging your practice today, and honouring and respecting each other and the light and love that we share. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you got some big breath in. And hopefully I will see you all really soon.